Hello, beautiful people. My name's Kristin. Thank you for taking some time, stopping by my channel, spending some coffee chat time. I just like to do a quick little weekly vlog. I'm working on making it a little quicker. I want to just come up with my thought of the day or lesson that I learned in the past 24 hours, or maybe a product that I really liked, or maybe want to warn people not to, and just kind of share that. So that's what I'm working on for this time. If that sounds good, just stick around for a thought of the day. Today is Sunday, Father's Day, so my thought today is just reflecting on fatherhood. And I'm blessed that my earthly father is still alive and well, and I can call him and wish him a happy day and remind him of all the goodness he's brought to my life. But it will be a hard day when there's a Father's Day that I do not have him, and I send up a gentle prayer and thoughts for those who are dealing with that, or maybe the lost dream of being a father, or lost a child even. And that's a really hard day. So, this day can be beautiful in a lot of powerful ways, a lot of tender ways, and I just honor that. I honor the sacredness. I think about all those men in my life that have been mentors and father figures for me and aren't my biological fathers, or maybe they're not even fathers biologically at all, but they treat me like they're nurturing me and encouraging me, and professors and neighbors and people who have really taken an interest in developing me, and I just honor that. And I think it's something that's easy for us to take for granted in life, these influences, and how we can be that for other people. So on this day, happy Father's Day. May you have some of those mindful remembrances of people who have spoken into your life, and whether most of us are probably mothers over fathers, but we honor that too. Parenting is no easy task and raising people up is no easy task, but this day we celebrate that. So I will see y'all tomorrow. It is Monday, and normally that's administration for me, but today we are providing showers for the homeless in our community, and so I will be cleaning up the bathrooms and getting all the supplies and making up the tables for them to get a towel and razors and shampoo and all that kind of good stuff. So that's exciting. And I've still got staff and that kind of stuff I got to tend to. And I am going to a podiatrist today to check on my ankle, because it would be great to have an expert like tell me that I'm anywhere in the ballpark to doing the correct things. I've only been to my regular general practitioner, so we will see. I do want to share kind of a sad story, but also a book recommendation. So 2 years ago, one of my very favorite books of 2018, well, that I read in 2018, the book is much older, was this book, A Street Cat Named Bob. And it's a story about James Bowen, who is the author. It's a memoir. And he was a young man who was struggling to kind of loved music, and he was one of those street musicians, which are buskers in London. So he was in London, and he was kind of down and out, had a breakup that was kind of rough on him, and lived in a low-income apartment like a struggling artist. And this cat hung out on the porch and kind of adopted him, right? You know how the pets do that. So he's finally gives in and says, okay, cat, you can hang with me. Well, the cat follows him onto the street, right? And so it's this adventure of this cat that basically follows him not only into his apartment and his life and his heart, but into his livelihood and just that relationship and what he learns about himself. And it's just a beautiful story, and it changed the way that I forever saw the street musicians, and I'm just constantly seeing them, if that makes sense. It's not just background music. I'm seeing the person, and even, when appropriate, striking up a conversation or reaching into my pockets and looking for cash, or just really enjoying it more than I did. So I really appreciated the gift of this book. Anyway, once I was done reading it in 2018, I immediately Googled Bob the Street Cat. He's been made into a cartoon over in London. He has several social media platforms, so I started following him. Well, this week while Bob was out, he was struck by a car and passed. So it's just a beautiful legacy now. He was, I think he was about 12 or 13. He had retired from the street musician. But anyway, if you have any interest in any of that I just said, pick up this book and read it. It's not, this is a happy story. This is not a sad story. It's only sad in retrospect that that cat is over the Rainbow Bridge and leaving a legacy. And we are in prayer for James because that was his child. That was his child. So yeah, that's my thought and my sharing and a book recommendation for the day. So I'm gonna pull myself back together and go do something happy, sharing, prepping some showers, because you know how good it feels to get a shower when you've been like really dirty for a while. So I get to give that gift to someone else, and y'all have a super awesome, blessed day, and talk to you tomorrow. It is Tuesday. I think it's going to be pretty warm. There is a little chance of some scattered thunderstorms later in the day, but should be a decent day. I will just be doing really some house cleaning. I have a lot of trip to the landfill and just doing my floors. My kitty cat makes some messes, and that's okay. I'm fine with that. I spot clean it at the time, but it just needs some bleaching and deep cleaning because she has an active wound that is not going to completely heal. I can put the paste and pain reliever on it, and she seems to be okay for the most part, so we're managing it. But yeah, that's my day. I only have some emails and administration stuff I have to do for work, but that really is not going to take me more than an hour, so it's almost like a day off, y'all. And I feel kind of guilty on one hand, but the reality is I'm supposed to leave for India tomorrow, and obviously that's not happening, and I was supposed to be there for 14 days. So yeah, I'm finding a new normal and finding other things to do. And I do want to talk just a minute before I use up all my time to give a report on my ankle injury, because ankle injuries is the most common injury. So I know there's a lot of y'all out there that have experienced that and dealt with that. You can share your stories in the comments, and especially if you have tips or things that worked for you, as I'm just kind of piecing this together, particularly during this time. So I fell off a curb in January, and there had been, I mean, it was really, really bad at that point. So I thought I'd broken it, but I had not. And I went to the podiatrist yesterday, and basically he went ahead and did a quick x-ray and looked at that and said, yes, absolutely, there's no bone. And after examination and symptoms and all that kind of stuff, he said it's absolutely not the ligament. It's actually not my ankle. It is a muscle above my ankle, but without an MRI, he can't tell the extent of the injury. But when I tried to kind of downplay or blow it off, he basically said, oh, it was pretty serious. When a doctor says, oh no, it's pretty serious, I usually get a little nervous. So I have to give props to my hubby, because I was not going to go to a podiatrist. I thought that was overreacting. So if you have somebody who loves you, who's pushing you to go to the doctor, I'm going to have to owe him an apology, because I was kind of pushing back really hard that I didn't want to do the time and expense to go to that. As with the x-rays, you have to pay out of deductible and all that stuff. Anyway, it was worth it. He was right. I was wrong. I'm saying it right now on YouTube. Yeah, so he said that because it's muscle, for sure, that physical therapy is definitely the way to go. He gave me guidelines for when I should wear the hard boot or the soft boot, or when I don't have to wear anything and I should actually just kind of be being gentle with the muscle, and then following the PT orders to strengthen it and see if we can get it healed and back in shape. And he said if I do 6 weeks of PT, which I can't start my physical therapy until July 23rd, because that was the soonest I could get in. So 6 weeks from July 23rd, if it's not better, I will go back in, and he will order an MRI, and we will see if it needs surgery, or, I mean, really, that's it. That would be the reason to go back in, to see if it actually needs some surgical help. So I'm really, really hopeful that my hashtag's goals of getting back in shape and getting back active can include healing that muscle, because it's basically pushing my right foot to the outside. So any movement of pushing my foot outer is compromised right now. So yeah, and I don't know exactly why running and jumping and some of those things, but I'm not a doctor, I don't know. So anyway, let me know if you've had those injuries, and if there was I'm doing the alphabet with my foot, and then I do the one when my husband's with me, we do that thing where I kind of push against his hand and try to strengthen it just gently that way. So those are the two exercises I know, and then balancing, standing on one foot and trying to balance and maybe do some yoga poses. So those are the 3 active exercises I know to work on that. And I wear the flex boot. He said don't run yet, but I could do elliptical or stationary bike or even rowing machine, which is my favorite, because I did crew for a while. Well, for a while, a couple months. Well, because it's expensive and far away. So yeah, we'll see. That's my update. I took a little longer to share that than I wanted to, but I would covet your advice and experiences and well wishes and prayers and thoughts and whatever you believe in for healings. I appreciate that and receive that. Thanks, y'all. It's Wednesday, and I'm just finished my sheet mask, just finished some breakfast, and having the rest of my coffee. Just got about a third left. Then I will get on and try to see if there's any youth left that want to Zoom. It is now fully into summer when we don't normally meet, but this is not normal. So Virginia plans to go to phase 3 July 1st, which means the church will go to phase 3 about 10 to 14 days after that. So I'm close to when I could maybe have some youth meeting. But until then, we'll just figure it out, right? So I do have something to show y'all. Look what my husband brought home yesterday. Aren't they pretty? Oh, that's just so sweet. It's just like he's a contractor, so things were a little slow for a while, but he's gotten a couple of good jobs and we're gonna make it. It's tough being like home all the time, right? I mean, you're like on top of each other, and I just really, really feel for people who's in a house where there's a lot of tension. So just know if that's you, I am just particularly thoughtful and mindful and sending up prayers just for those situations. I know it's, and a lot of it's financial stress, right? He's not getting the work he normally gets, and that's not the income he normally gets, but where we just figure it out. And we've been married 9 months now, and we're still figuring things out and readjusting and finding things that drive each other crazy, but then figuring out which things are okay to let go. Like he like my pantry, we have a very small kitchen. I think I've mentioned this, and our pantry's small. So there's no way in my mind that I could really keep it that organized. So I just have grains and chips and snacks are on this shelf, and breakfasty things would be on this shelf, and baking things would be on this shelf, but it's in no particular order beyond that. I try to pull the things that are open closer to the front so they get used first, and that's it. That's my entire system. And I can understand why that just really annoyed him and flipped him out. So he reorganized, every time we do a big grocery run, every week, it seems like now, since we have 5 people in the house, but he rearranges the pantry, and that's cool. Sometimes the worst case that I found is I end up thinking I don't have something because it's not on the right shelf or where I would normally put it, so I buy something duplicate, which again, is a small pantry, so you don't want a whole lot of that. But at the end of the day, I mean, that's all right. And our pantry is, I mean, he does a good job at organizing that stuff. So, I mean, we have to play up to each other's strengths, right? So whatever little things are going on in your house, the kids leaving things all over the place, and spouses or whoever you live with, roommates, you know, being a little crazy, I just have to take a deep breath. There's certain areas that he just does not care if things are picked up or done a certain way, but if I care, I just recognize I care and I fix it. He doesn't care that I fix it. He's just not gonna do it. So I hope that for you in your house this day. And that is my thought of the day. So y'all have an awesome one. I'm gonna go see if I've got any youth to chat with. Y'all take care. Happy Thursday. I had to think a minute. It's one of those things. Hey, I've been using that banana scented sea salt scrunchy spray to kind of give like that beach wind look, and I kind of like it. It's kind of a fun summer kind of thing and super easy because I just take my natural curls and just kind of go with it. So it's kind of like a intentional frizzed out curl look. So, and I love the smell. I think it came in my Target box. So I'm gonna look for it at Target and use my coupon. So I love that when you can take your beauty samples and find something you love. So anyway, I have to share about my day yesterday and then play what I like to call the gratitude game, because it was a bad day yesterday. It was just really, really sad for me the whole day, and I struggled. And in the morning, I had my senior high Zoom, but I didn't have anybody show up, which is normal because it's 9 a.m. in summer with teenagers. So it had been decreasing steadily, and we had talked about how we were only going to do it through June. So this was the last week. So it was fine, but you know, it's kind of disappointing to be there and you know, not have any takers, so to speak. And it was the day that we were to leave for India on our mission trip, and that is just something that is so close to my heart. And I particularly was sad because two of my very favorite youth that I get to work with who are seniors, that was the last thing I was going to get to do with them right before they go off. And so if I think about that, I'll start crying again, because that's just really sacred to me. And then I had a birthday balloon, so I went and delivered that, and my car nearly died on the road, right? So I was like, oh my gosh, I gotta take it in because I think the battery's dead. So I called the dealership, and we're supposed to go out of town this weekend to a cabin to go fishing, and I really want that car because it's a minivan, we can pack it up, right? So I said, is there any way I can bring this in? And they said, yeah, if you get it in, you know, 45 minutes from now, there's an appointment and we'll get the battery changed out for you. I said, great. So I had my son follow me, and it's only 3 miles, but you do have to be on the highway for most of it. And I was so worried that my car was gonna conk out because every time it shifted gears, it would kind of lurch a little. And I was like, oh my gosh. But we made it safe. And they called back and said, so sorry, but it's not the battery, it's the alternator, but the battery's drained, but we'll replace the battery, but it's gonna be $900. And that sounded like really crazy, but I was like, well, you know, I'm not ready to turn in my car, and you can't really function without an alternator. So, you know, we're gonna have to fix it. But then I quickly, as soon as I got off the phone, was panicked, right? It's like, you think you're gonna spend maybe $100 on a battery, and it's like, oh my gosh. And so I started Googling, and sure enough, I mean, high end there, the Google will tell you, you know, $600 for an alternator. So I quickly called them back. It had been less than 10 minutes and said, no, tell me something else I can do because this is too high. And I trust y'all. Y'all have been my service person for 17 years. Or, yeah, 11 years, because I've lived here 17 years, but I've been going to that dealership for 11. So he basically hems and haws and supposedly looks around and says, I can get you a $40 off coupon. I said, you know, I'm gonna need to do some research. I'll call you back. So I called back after I've talked to another auto repair place that I know the owner, and I'm friends with the owner, and so I kind of trust that he wouldn't do me wrong. And they said, you know, if we replaced all the parts and the belts and everything, it would be a total of $530. And I said, that's within the range of, you know, what Google told me too. So I call back the dealership and say, you know, I'm gonna take this to somewhere else because that's significant and I'm just really disappointed. And, but go ahead and give me the new battery because it's under warranty that I bought there. So I go back into the dealership, and on our way to the dealership, I'm going with my son who's giving me the ride. There was a wreck on the highway and we got stopped, like standstill, the road is closed, highway's closed for over an hour. And I thought, oh my gosh. But you know, this is what we're doing, this is our day. So we got to the dealership finally, and the battery's not even hooked up. My alternator, in that 10 minutes that I had Google searched and called them back and told them not to, they had already taken that as approval and had disassembled my alternator, and all the parts were in my floorboard. So it's like, how can it be $900 with the labor if you can disassemble the entire thing in seriously less than 10 minutes? I promise y'all, I am not making that up. So they charged me $117 to diagnose my car so that I could get the key and take it, which is the standard diagnostic charge. But I can't imagine that they diagnosed my entire car. I mean, anyway, I was a little salty about it. And as I was sitting there thinking, I said, this just isn't right. It's like they haven't worked with me. I went back in and asked for the manager and said, I'm waiting for my tow truck because I'm a AAA member and I got free towing. So I'm waiting for my AAA car, but I just wanted to come back in here and tell you this is not good service. This is not okay. I have 3 cars that I bring in here, 2 of which I bought at your dealership. I've been coming for 11 years. I've spent literally thousands of dollars, and this is not working with me and helping me out and taking care of me and all of that. And the manager listened to the whole thing and said, oh, you're right, that was totally mishandled. I'm gonna give you your $117 back, and I hope you'll give us a chance in the future. Which at least, I mean, literally, if he had not done that, I would not have. That would have been it. But I may consider it now, at least buying my future Hondas there, because I particularly am fond of some of the salespeople there. Anyway, we get the car towed. The tow man came 15 minutes early, was very nice. He actually used to be a mechanic who got bad arthritis, and he was telling me all these tips on how to care for my car, which was great. And we got it to the new place, auto place, which had closed by that point, but they have a little paperwork and envelopes right there, and you drop your key into the lockbox and you can leave it. So that was great. So we did all that, and my son drove us home, and by this time it's 7 o'clock at night. So this has been all day. I mean, all day process of getting my car in. So the new place can fix it today. They're supposed to call me this afternoon. So fingers crossed on that. But I was just so shook up by the whole thing and just so sad because that was the day that we were supposed to leave for India. And I was sad about that. And I was sad about my car. And I was sad about the stress of the money. And my dog is drinking. That is so obnoxiously loud, drinking. But I'm glad she's getting her water. I need to hydrate, y'all. So it's just a rough day. That is a rough day to me. And maybe I'm sheltered and that's a good day for a lot of people, and I appreciate that and I respect that. But it was hard. So today, this morning, I was thinking about my gratitude game, and when I have bad days like that, it's so helpful. So, 1, I am so grateful that my son had the day off and basically dedicated the whole day to being with me. And like, because we were stuck on the highway for an hour, because we were waiting around for an hour for a tow truck, we spent a lot of quality time and a lot of time talking, especially about how to adult, right? Because he's 23, and like, how do you take care of these things and what's right? And he was like, Mom, if you didn't go back in there and get your money back, I was gonna go back in for you, because that just wasn't right. That was so, just shisty. And I was like, yeah. And so, just, that was a blessing. 2, I am so thankful that car wreck, which I'm still praying for that person, because that's a serious car wreck, that happened on our return trip and not when I was trying to get my faulty car. Because I promise you, if that had been the first time, my car would not have restarted. It would have been stalled out on the highway, and I would have been part of the problem, and we would have had to wait for a tow truck to get me off the highway. Oh my gosh. So thankful that I made it safely there. The generosity and sweetness of the tow truck driver, which I did tip him. I got free towing because of my free by my AAA membership, but I tipped him and just thanked him for his time. He was just very supportive and caring, and I just really feel like he's one of those people that if you're a lone woman on the side of the road that needs some help, he's going to be the tow truck driver that's going to come and defend you and be your hero of the day. So blessings for him. And I did ask his name and I can't remember it now, and I feel really guilty about that, but I'm thankful for you. And and let's see what else. I mean, technically at the end of the day, despite everything, yesterday I spent $0 because the towing ended up being free. They refunded my diagnostic. The battery is brand new and was under warranty. I didn't pay for it. So even though I have to spend $500 on an alternator today, I didn't spend anything yesterday, and it didn't turn out being in that worst case scenario. So I'm really thankful. So I feel much better, kind of cleansed in spirit, ready to be really just on a good note today. And maybe if you're having a bad day, maybe it takes a couple minutes just to think about some of those things that are a blessing and the silver linings, if you will. I just know that is critical for my life. And when I'm with my teenagers and we have a really difficult situation, when we're on missions or working hard or hot, or our food is delayed or showers are broken or we get into something, it's really, really critical just to focus on those positive things and those things that are grateful, and all of a sudden you start seeing the blessings in it, right? So that's what I have for you today. Thank you for listening to me kind of vent out my bad day, and I am ready for a good day. I'm without a car today, so I can't go to the gym, can't do a lot of the things that I was originally had on my docket, but you know what? I'm gonna find the good in this day, and I'm just thankful to be healthy, to be in a home, to be, with the ability to get a car and to fix it. So blessings to you. May the Lord provide for you this day and take care of your needs. And I look forward to spending time and seeing you tomorrow. It's Friday. I forgot to show you this is from LuLaRoe, and I loved it because it looked like a 70s ringer tee, and then it had a lemon, and I just thought the saying was cute. So that is that. We're getting ready to lock and load, go to a cabin next to a river and go fishing this weekend. So I will probably vlog there. I wanted to go ahead and get this up, and I think it's gotten longer than the one last week, even though I was trying to make it shorter. I just get chatty. So thank you for letting me share with you. I appreciate that, and you have a super day. Enjoy your tea, coffee, and time, and I will see you again later.